the reigning queens. The boys, punks, turnout errand runners.
I was looked at to be turned out, you know, what they call fresh meat. I've had knives pulled on me. I've been told that I'd be on TV, you know. My folks would see me on TV, dead, you know, murdered in Limestone Penitentiary.
Limestone is the largest lockup in the nation's poorest prison system.
98% of the inmate population is dirt poor. So there's no such thing as pleasures in prison. Sure, I might be able to eat me a hamburger once a week if I know the right people. But that's nothing. That's nothing compared to sleeping up under air conditioning. There's nothing compared to watching the NBA Finals on a widescreen TV. This is a world within a world. You got everything under the sun here. You got homosexuality, run rampant. You got gambling. You got gangs. You got everything. See, now is my name. I'm pimping hoes in my game. A place called Mobile, Alabama is the state that I claim. Where the niggas back still.
Junk food and toiletries from the commissary serve as legal tender in prison. Cash money is illegal, and any item not purchased from the prison store is contraband. So bags of instant coffee and candy are the money in the underground economy. The old rules that govern exactly how business is transacted in the penitentiary are as precise as NASDAQ.
The hustling part is because people don't have any money. This is how the game works. I ain't got no means of money. I got a box full of candy back there. Cookies, Zuzus, and Wham Whams is what they call it. I'm gonna loan it to another inmate. I'll let you get a pack of cookies for 2 packs back next week. If a man borrows too much stuff, it gets too far in debt. Either you fight for it and let him know I'm not gonna pay you, so me and you just gonna have to whoop each other's ass and we're gonna go to lockup, or we're gonna go back here and fuck, just ever how you wanna do it. That's the way it works. He might have borrowed 10 suits and ended up fucking out his ass the rest of his life while he's here on account of 10 suits. Got him that way. Because 10 suits, if you can't pay it this week, it's gonna cost you 20 suits next week. And the week after that, it's gonna be 40 suits. So sooner or later, the man's gonna step to you and tell you, hey, I'm tired of your shit.
Mindy was preyed upon by convicts who used the boo game. The boo game consists of terror tactics and loan sharking to turn a guy out.
One of the first things they're gonna throw up is the stuff they've given you. You know, you owe them for that. And then they kind of put the boo down with it, the boo game. And to where you owe them that plus interest, you know. They try to get you in a bind.
Race, gang membership, smarts, black market profits all determine who's on top. Mark Moore, serving 20 for a gang shooting, was feared and respected at Limestone Correctional. Mark would become Mindy's man.
Mindy, that's his nickname. I gave him that nickname all. He was my baby. I was comfortable with him. In prison, your boys or your sisters, that's like your wife or your woman on the street. On the streets, green money will get you whatever. In prison, the more coffee you have, the more cigarettes and bullshit you have, it gets you what you want. Or having a complex about it. I don't. Because I'm a strong believer, if you got to be ashamed of something that you do, you shouldn't do it.
This society away from society mirrors the actual society out there. We have religion, we have schools, we have drugs, we have sex, we have all types of vices. And I tell you, I wouldn't want to work in a prison that didn't have some vices in it. And sometimes those things keep them busy. That keeps them out of our hair. Now, there again, I don't condone it. And if we catch them, we'll punish them. But I know it goes on, and it probably does have some element of helping us keep control.
The more shit, you know, like coffee and cigarettes and things like of that nature that I got, the more I wanted. The more boys that I picked up, the more I wanted. It was like it became a challenge to see a pretty little young boy come in and everybody shooting at him, everybody trying to get him, everybody trying to pull him in. So it became a challenge. It made my dick hard to chase him, to see if I could get him before anyone else.
I met Mark on the chain gang. I would say it was in '98. I wouldn't talk to him for the first couple of days because I was too scared. But then after that, I kind of loosened up a little bit and I got high with him. He was running a store, and I had a person I was looking out for as far as loaning him stuff. So I'd go to Mark and get stuff and loan it out for a money order or whatever, and just pay Mark off. So that's how we got acquainted, was just through business.
He came to me, Mindy came to me and requested to be with me, you know what I'm saying? Which was rather strange because this was like the first guy that ever pulled up on me and said, hey man, can I be with you? You know, so it was rather shocking.
So we ended up doing a business transaction on some money, and he asked me if I would do something for him. And I told him yeah. Of course, at the time I said that, I didn't have that in mind, but that's what it ended up being. So, you know, from that point on, I didn't really kick it with nobody else for a little over 2 years.
Mindy was not the only one to join Mark's makeshift clan. There was Hips, a forger. He began as a prison wife.
It's really not just a sex thing. It's about having a companion, somebody that you know is your friend.
I got Hips through a partner of mine. Hips went to the street and come back to prison. When he got to the camp, he owed out like $300-400 worth of shit. When he first got there, from before when he was in prison.
And we were business partners. Okay, when I left and he left, we met up again here at Limestone in 2000. Okay, and it was the same scenario. Mark had a boy, David Mendenhall, okay, and I run tattoos, run a store, and hustled, all right? So me and Mark started running the store again together, hustling, trying to make more money and more money and more money and more money, and before you know it, I ended up with 2 boys, and he ended up with 2 boys, and we called it a family. And when he wasn't around, I watched all of them, and when I wasn't around, he watched all of them.
I got a family of my own, a beautiful son and a wife. You always said that I could be whatever I wanted to be. I once was blind, but now I see you made a man out of me. So ride with me and get high with me. It's a pity that I take this way.
We partied together, we had sex together, and you know, we fought together. And we was there for each other.
The relationship that we shared was really like the relationship I had with my child's mother. I mean, we were so compatible. We were, you know what I'm saying? We had so much in common. We developed great feelings for one another. He was like my shadow. Everywhere you seen me, you seen him. We were best friends. It wasn't, the relationship wasn't based on sex, you know, me fucking him in his ass. It was more than that. You know what I'm saying? I cared deeply about him.
And we was there for each other through this, you know, whatever situation. So that caused me to have feelings about him, you know, because as good as he was, you just, you know, you don't find too many people that's gonna be that good to you. Not in this place. So that was something new to me. And that's something I respected.
I woke up, first thing I wanted to see was him. Before I went to bed at night, the last thing I wanted to see was him. I love him.
There you go, man.
In a sense, Mark had been turned out by his own boy. He fell in love with Mindy, and in prison that made him vulnerable. But Mark wasn't one to lose control of the situation. He reminded Mindy that it was his job to lure newcomers into their circle.
And David Mendenhall, he worked on radios, and he'd fix my radio and everything. We got to talking, eating together, you know, drinking together. We'd do a little drugs together, and we became friends.
I had never turned a boy out or had a boy or anything, and that wasn't my objective. You know, I was just supposed to pull him away from the other people he was kicking it with and to kick it with us.
They never threatened me, and basically they give me anything I wanted, you know, watches, clothes, boots, shoes, anything I wanted I could get.
His family had cut him off. Mail calls came with no letters from home and no money on the books. Survival was looking grim.
When my folks quit looking out for me, I felt betrayed. I felt like I didn't deserve that. I was at my lowest self-esteem, so I had to find a way to pick me back up, make me happy, you know, make the best out of a bad situation. And Mark and Mendenhall, they did that.
I turned out. Basically, he said he wanted someone to be real with him, someone to give him attention and affection. And he seen how I treated Mindy and my other boys, and he just wanted to get in, so we did.
So we called him Youngin. He just trusted me, you know, with his feelings and everything else, and whatever he thought about, you know, he felt he could talk to me.
Julep is a prison world whiskey. Make it out of yeast, orange juices, and
I'm gonna be so close to some Jim Beam whiskey
rice
until I might make Jim Beam sue me.
It'll get you drunk, pretty much like free world alcohol. We got to drinking that night, and both of us was pretty tipsy. We were just laying on the bed back there. He was at one end of the bed and I was at the other end of the bed. And he just started rubbing on my leg. Automatically, by me being pretty well drunk, I had began to become erect, you know, and I didn't have any complex about it. You know, I already liked him. He's a good-looking dude. Everybody liked him. Everybody still likes him.
Part of the family now, Eddie was looked after by Mark's gang, especially by an older wheeler dealer, Jerry Gaskins, JG.
I'll make sure he has something to eat every night. You know, I'll make sure he have something to smoke. I'll make sure he have some coffee. But I'm not never giving it to him directly. He's getting it from one of my boys. And for me, my boys get my boys. You know what I'm saying? They tell them the type of person I am, you know what I'm saying? The benefits that they have being with me.
Say like if a new guy came today and I just pull up on him, start talking to him, spending time with him, giving him advice, he would owe me.
Got some gas.
Yes,
I got some gas.
You got some money? Yeah, I got some money. It smell like bell.
Come on now, don't get your nose all in me. What you want to do?
I ain't finna just buy this shit, man.
I'm telling you some gas. What you want to do?
JG, that's my righteous dog.
Y'all bullshit, man.
Where did all the cup at?
Huh?
Son, give me that cup.
I'm just gonna buy your shit.
It's like he's like the older brother that I never had.
Yeah. If you don't, hey, look, you ain't gonna just be drinking my whiskey, right? That's all you getting now.
JG loved to get his boys hooked on whatever.
That's gas, ain't it?
And just as quick, snatch it away.
Take it and get robbed.
No, you ain't finna
rob.
rob.
Some bell war.
We all right, man. Ain't no robbing here, bro.
They give me 10.
I tell you what.
Nah, I don't want no shit now. Now you owe me 10 bad now.
Give me this.
You supposed to break even. Long as you get that from a homeboy, he's straight.
When that person might feel like, you know, no, it's not me or whatever, you know, then I cut him off. I cut his supply off. You know what I'm saying? Now I give him time to think about it. You know what I'm saying? He was getting free dope. He was getting free whiskey. He was getting eating every night. He was smoking every night. And then he was getting free sex. Now he don't get none of that no more. And to be able to get that, then this is what he got to do.
They know if they could get me and they could invest a little bit, the way the game goes, I owe them then.
Because, you know, I could let them go out and hang out. You know, flirt a little bit, you know, and come back with some food or come back with some cigarettes or come back with some coffee or whatever, you know what I'm saying, I need it, you know what I'm saying, to make it through the next day.
It happens all the time. They could pimp me out and make, you know, triple, you know, make more money like that than what they've invested. So for me to live clean and have what I like, I guess when I started hanging around Mark and Mendenhall, they did that.
Limestone is a place filled with men who have spent their lives searching for families. Mark, JG, Mindy, Hips, and Eddie formed a family at Limestone Correctional.
Right, and that's the way we looked at it. We had a family.
After Mark had found out that I had slept with Mindy, he became anxious. He wanted to himself. Then when I was spending time with him, Mendenhall would be jealous. So it was causing turmoil in the family. That's what we were a family. It was causing somebody was always mad.
We're removed from our natural families. So we have to, we make bonds and friendships.
Leonard Singletary, an inmate confined to the HIV ward at Limestone, has watched makeshift prison families come and go over time.
We're closer than a lot of families on the street. We live together, we sleep together, we shower together, we use the bathroom together. Most families can at least close the door.
Now I'm dying with a broken heart, without my babies by my side. It's been hard for me without my kids in my life.
Power and lust get all twisted up together behind bars.
He had about 15 niggas with him, all of them got
In Alabama, Mark had gotten addicted to both.
I like power. Matter of fact, I love power. I love being in control. I love to be the dominant one. You know, and I practice that and enforce that in every relationship that I've been in prison.
Mark had an empire of boys, but he wasn't satisfied. He spotted Matt.
I had strange feelings for him, and I can remember one day, the white team lost a basketball game. So my used to be blood brother, a white guy, he took the basketball and kicked it over the fence. So when he makes this move, we had other gang members. So they wanted to do something to him, harm him, bring physical harm to him, right? So myself, as well as Mother Blood, we stepped up. Without us, they would have probably killed him, slaughtered him. He should have understood the love that myself as well as others had for him, to where he did shit that jeopardized the whole family.
All right, for a white guy to go in the penitentiary, it don't matter if he's fucking rock hard and 300 pounds and it's just whoop everybody in that motherfucker that coming at him with game. For a young white guy like myself that was real skinny and wasn't working out and wasn't real healthy and shit, been doing drugs and shit, it's not just one or two people coming at him. It's just boom, 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 boom. Every 5 minutes, it's just boom, boom, boom. You know, it's constant.
They either want you for your money or your ass won.
Mindy and Matt were both doing hard time by the age of 19. Matt had gone from born-again Christian to Satanist, and then was invited to join the Bloods, Mark and JG's gang.
After 2 years of just every day waking up, go play basketball, then go play baseball, and then go to the chapel and go here and go there, I mean, it just got old. And then when I joined that gang, I could go over here and just chill with these motherfuckers, and they was cool, man. I liked them, you know. I didn't need to be in a gang. I wanted to be cool, you know what I mean? Just chill.
When Mark got transferred out of Limestone, Mindy began to take on the role of a man in charge of the boys.
Whenever they shipped him, and that's whenever pretty much responsibility landed on me to make sure they're all right and to make sure nobody messes with them, you know. You got to, if you have to, die for them.
In Alabama, as in elsewhere, the boys don't really have a choice. If a man wants them, they're gonna get took. But there are other ways to get turned out. It can come from an inmate, or it can come from a prison guard. In Florida, ex-Navy medic Robbie Craig got sentenced to 8.5 years.
3 strikes and you're out. I wrote a prescription and got caught. Breaking in the window in the Jewish Community Center, passed out in the front seat of a vehicle.
Robbie was worried about getting even more time if he got into trouble. Trouble started soon after he arrived.
After your visitation, it's standard procedure for the inmate to be strip searched. And there was a sergeant that was in charge of the visiting park this day, Sergeant Anderson. And after my visit was over with, we go into what we call a shakedown room. It's a small room about 6 foot by 8 foot. Turn around, spread your cheeks, and bend over and cough. And what I did, Sergeant Anderson made a throaty noise like this, and he masturbated from inside the control room at me. And
Sergeant Anderson didn't stop there. He used blackmail to get what he wanted.
I was ordered to go to the front gate to put some Visqueen, which is plastic, over some cabinet shop material that was outside and was going to be in the weather. And I was in the cabinet shop, and I'm really caught up in my work, and I'm really working, and things are coming together, and I'm putting some stuff together, and I'm not even thinking. And all of a sudden, keys jingling, and I heard what sounded like a zipper. And I came up, I had the staple gun in my hand, and I turned around, and Sergeant Anderson had exposed himself. And he was standing there, and he looks at me and he tells me to lick it. Those are his exact words. And I told him, I said, my words were, Sarge, I'm not about that. I've never done nothing like that. You know, I started pleading with him. As he advanced towards me, he was only about 3 feet away. As he was coming towards me, he lifted one of his arms. It was right or left, I can't remember, but he put his hand on my head, and he tells me to lick it. And he's using an authoritative tone, no different than if he was telling me to pick up a cigarette butt, or to make my bed, or go to chow. It was, he was ordering me to lick it. And anyway, he forced my head down there, and he had his other hand down there, and he ejaculated on my face, my mouth, and he told me, go put the Visqueen out. I left the tool room, and I just started working on the Visqueen. If I were placed in this same situation in what we refer to as the free world, I could have simply walked away. Or if he would have gone to place his hands on me, I could have defended myself. I could have broke his jaw. All this was going through my mind. I mean, thoughts just went, I mean, when something like that happened and you don't expect it to happen, and it's just there, and it's all of a sudden it's not happening like you thought it would happen in prison, another inmate, you know, to where you could, defend yourself or go down fighting or go down, or die. That's what you tell yourself is nobody's ever going to do that. But when it's somebody standing in a uniform and all you see is sergeant stripes and a whistle hanging there and an ID and these are the people that run your life, I didn't know what to do. So the only thing I kept thinking was another 15 years. If I hurt this man, I'm going to be in prison for another 15 years. Nobody's going to believe me. Nobody's ever going to believe this. If he's capable of doing something like that, he could pull drugs out of his pocket and said, look what I found on you. Ripped his shirt and said, you just assaulted me. My work squad sergeant, Sergeant McLemore, who I had a great deal of respect for. He was my drill instructor, father, all in one. And Sergeant McLemore told me, he says, we're going to get that SOB. He says, I believe you. He says, I knew something wasn't right about him. I knew there was something there. I'm going to get him. Don't you worry about it. I'm going to get him. And as soon as I knew Sergeant McLemore was in my corner, I felt a great weight lifted from me. But I can't tell him exactly what's happening. It's like be sitting down like telling my father that, that something like this has happened. You just can't tell him.
Come stir my memory again.
Mindy's father, David Mendenhall Sr., was a trucker and a guitar player.
Show me pain. Help me remember all the good times. Help me forget all this pain. Come stir my memory again.
I was usually home 2 days out of the week. And of course, a big part of that, I was catching up on some sleep. Yeah, you might as well say I really wasn't there, but I didn't study on it as to what effects it was having.
Mindy's grandmother helped raise him. She brought him into the ways of the Holiness Church.
Yeah, these 50-pound bags, David Jr. not here to do them for me, so I have to get them hauled back here. I have to keep my feet clean. Hey, Chicky.
Ardith agonized over what to do when her grandson first went to prison.
There we go. And he was afraid to go to the authorities because they had threatened him. And he didn't know what to do, so he called me. He was nearly to a nervous breakdown, and he wasn't able to eat and keep it on his stomach. And he'd had a homosexuals there and so forth. I called a lieutenant immediately and then moved David to a cell to himself.
And many nights I remember walking back to my dorm after they cleared the count, and I'd cry on the way, asking myself, how would I get into this? And sometimes I'd ask God, how could this happen? Because it's something at the time I didn't understand at all.
And I believe that today that we have taken out this service here to ask God to help our brother David Mendenhall, who has been in trouble and served. How many years has he served?
It's going on 6 years.
We don't know, we don't judge. But how many of you know probably that's enough time? How many of you know that God knows how to deliver? God knows how to set people free. God, then you know how to deliver David Mendenhall. God, we pray for him, Jesus. God, that you would help him.
You feel it clear through your core. And those kind of experiences, being pimped out and the homosexual activity and such as that he's had to deal with in there, I honestly, sincerely hope it's something that he's just had to adapt to that will go away on its own, that he doesn't enjoy, that when he gets out he can put behind him and not have to talk about it or bring it up.
Sure would be nice to have David Jr. home by myself and not as young as he used to be. And had everything the baby could possibly want. The church and all gave him a beautiful shower. And everything seemed to be going great. But he would just work to death. He says, Grandmother, he hardly knew what happened because he was half awake and all. But he bumped himself, kind of lost his balance. He threw the baby back on the bed. They brought it against him as child abuse and murder. First manslaughter, and then they called it murder.
If he's learning things that he should be learning from some of these prison daddies or whatever, wonderful. I hope the things he's learning in there that that a person doesn't need to know, he forgets or doesn't take to heart.
BPS is on her stomach, standing for Black Peace Stone, and she's holding a dope sack over here on this side of her arm. My partner Mark, and that's my partner Silk. On this side here, you have my mother Betty, my sister Brenda, my grandmother Alberta, and my nephew Lil Ike.
Stop, 10. Relax.
J.G., Mark's partner, got busted for burglary. J.G. was born in Pleasant City, a dangerous slum in the heart of West Palm Beach.
I grew up in a family of 9 brothers and 4 sisters. My father, he left, you know, when I was like 9 years old. My mother, you know what I'm saying, because I was the only child and the things that I was getting involved in, I mean, I was her baby. So she brought me up here to the Dothan, Alabama. And I started feeling my way around and found out they had disciples and they had Crips, but they didn't have many Bloods. So I started the Black Peace Stone Blood Nation in Dothan.
I sit back and reminisce on all my broke days, my starting coke days. When I entered the premise, some man you told me no days. Sipping on Thunderbird and Kool-Aid, over this both days. Feeling like God, y'all. Just waiting with the pro days. From a junkie to a baller, all the dirt.
I shot a guy in the project. He was the opposite gang member, and he disrespected me. So I shot him. And I got 20 years for it.
Lamarck had that choice from the very first day. He made the choice to do what he wanted to do. We never denied him nothing.
I grew up in Pritchard with my grandmother, my mother. Lived there all my life. Slum area, ghetto, full of drugs, prostitution, murders. Basically just the straight ghetto.
Mother signed him off to his great-grandmother, and she had control of him. There was no man in the house for him growing up. So he was around a bunch of ladies.
I didn't grow up with a father or uncles or nothing like that, no father figure. So I looked up to the Bloods as like role model. I joined at a young age. It was more so like a family to me, you know what I'm saying?
See, I wouldn't know what a Blood is, I've never dealt with gangs, you know, so I was blind about all that. I would go and try to pick the boy up on weekends. Not one weekend went by that he came stay with me, that his great-grandmama didn't call my house as soon as we got him to the house. She never gave him the chance to stay with him. And once he got up, 12, 13, then she wants to go and call me. Want me to chastise the child or something. I would have had to fight him and all this here to get him. And I just couldn't see it. I mean, it wouldn't have happened. It would have been worse, I think, with me and him than it is now.
Unlike Mark's father, Robbie Craig's dad was around in the early years. But Randy Craig, a former and feared penitentiary captain, was not adverse to knocking his son around and disowned him at the age of 14.
He ran our household like he ran the prison. He was in charge of riot control at the institution he was working at. He would dress up in riot gear and practice movements with his baton, with me.
We'd set up surveillance here at the maintenance shop. Inside the cabinet shop was an inmate by the name of Robbie Craig.
They came in and told me that they were going to set up hidden cameras and that if they seen Sergeant Anderson break the law in any way, that they would be there to stop it. Well, as soon as he exposed himself, I'm like, got him. This man's being caught red-handed, but they don't come out. They don't rush in. It ended up being like 22 minutes. But finally, when they came running in, you know, and Inspector Pacioli with his badge held high, you know, Sergeant Anderson with his pants down, putting the cuffs on. That was a good feeling. And it made me smile.
When we found Anderson, he insisted he was only trying to be a friend to Robbie Craig. He now lives 10 miles downstream from the prison, making ends meet as a fishing guide.
I'm still having heart problems. The publicity and all that went along with everything, it just destroyed, it like to destroy my family.
He had to give up his state certification to work at the correctional facility. Here, I find out this man didn't spend one night in jail. He didn't go to jail. He didn't go to prison. Nothing happened to him. He got his hand slapped, he lost his job, and he's still out there on the street.
Things happen that screw people up, and I can't believe that someone that you try to help would actually stab you in the back.
Me and my niggas finna shine tonight. Me and my niggas finna shine tonight. Yeah, we finna dig up.
One more, get it.
We finna dig up in your spine tonight. Yeah, me and my niggas finna shine tonight. Me and my niggas.
So this particular guy was here before. He was a blood. In Alabama, you know what I'm saying, a lot of places, you know what I'm saying, they don't believe in a white guy being a blood.
That situation there was really fucked up. The guy, he was a blood, true enough. When I arrived at the prison, I was introduced to him. I had feelings for him, lust. At first, it kind of struck me, you know what I'm saying? They were telling me, hey man, this white dude, he's blood also, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like, well, hell, he had to show some type of heart. But by us acknowledging him as a blood, I pushed that lust to the side.
As far as bloods come, they wasn't with that shit. They had told Lamarck and JG time and time after again, you know, you need to quit fucking with them sissies because, you know, that's making us look bad.
It was football season, you know, and every motherfucking prison gonna watch football.
A lot of satanic stuff on the wall inside one of the dorms here.
The captain and the lieutenant, they come around to do daily inspections of the whole dorm. So they go in the closet and they see all this shit painted on the wall and they go off. I mean, they have a fit. Until we find out who vandalized his room, won't be no football.
But he is a blood, so nobody can't go cludge him out.
Another blood come to me, say, hey man, you know who put that shit in that room? I said, nah, who? So he tells me, he say, Blood did it, the little white boy. So I'm like, what?
Once again, Mark sees the opportunity to begin his mind games.
I walk him around the prison compound, we talk. I basically let him know, you know what I'm saying, how I had felt betrayed by what he did. Basically, I just made him feel guilty. I started to put my plan into making. So I let him know that I want him to be with me. I let him know that I want to have sex with him. I let him know I want to lay with him.
Been drinking, been smoking some reefer or whatever, and I go to my little brother's cell, or I call him my little brother Mark.
This is my righteous dog, you know what I'm saying? He comes in.
So I asked him, I said, man, you know what you did could have got a lot of people messed up. So he like, yeah.
He doesn't make it any better. He jumps right in.
I said, what if we rape you right now? How will you like that?
He started crying and begging and pleading. You know what I'm saying? Mark, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be gay. I don't want to. But at this time, you know what I'm saying, I'm out of control. I don't want to hear nothing, no talk.
My little brother, he jump up and he slap him real hard. And he done got serious because he really wanted to be with this person all alone.
I tell him to turn around. So he turns, he moves slightly. I tell him to turn around again. He still doesn't want to turn all the way around. So I said, bitch, if I have to tell you to turn around one more time, I'll break your jaw. So he turns around.
Like put his hands against the wall, like spread them like the police will make you spread them.
I tell him to take his pants off. He doesn't want to do it. I punch him in the face. You know what I'm saying? I squeeze his ass cheeks. 2 handfuls. He tenses up. You know. So I take my pants off. I mean, he's just sitting here the whole time. I had a pair of red and white Jordans with some red shoestrings in them. So I ain't got nothing on but these tennis shoes and my undershort. I give him the grease. And I tell him to put some on his finger. Stick it in his ass and you know what I'm saying, kind of like fuck himself to loosen himself up, because I know he had never been penetrated before. It was his first time. Just an old penitentiary trick that I learned from some old convicts. If he screamed rape, you know what I'm saying, he had grease under his fingernail. So he greased his own self up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna basically lie and tell him I've been fucking him. He's been my boy. Hell, they gonna buy it. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I'm gonna go to the extreme and get 4 or 5 other guys that lie and say I've been fucking him too, been taking care of him. He's been my boy.
But I said, what if I take this knife and stab it right through your face? I said, will you like that? So he's scared now when he see this knife. You know what I'm saying?
They had a knife to my eye and one in my throat right here, my jugular. And I'm telling you, I could just feel them, you know, sticking me. And if they put any pressure on it, it's gonna cut me wide open, you know?
I go to fucking him. You know what I'm saying? Slowly at first, you know what I'm saying, and try to loosen him up. And it was tight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was definitely a virgin. He's groaning and, you know what I'm saying, moaning and telling me how it hurts. So, you know, I bag out a little bit. At this time, my dog, he at the door. You know what I'm saying? He's standing in front of the cell. So he's like, man, come on, man, goddamn. Go on, hurry up, man. I want to get straight too. I said, well, come on. I get up off of him.
I'm in the middle of it now. I'm there, so I can't welch out now. You know what I'm saying? I got to go through with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like stuck there in here with him.
He greases himself up. He shows him no mercy. He fucks him for real. You know what I'm saying? So I had to tell him, hold up, man. You know, slow down, chill out, man. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to hurt him for real. You know what I'm saying? And you have to go to the hospital, and you know what I'm saying? He's gonna automatically have to say what happened.
He have sex with him first. Then I have sex with him. Then he have sex with him. I have sex with him. Then he have sex with him. And then that was the end of it.
So I didn't finish it first, you know what I'm saying? So I fuck him, and I come off. I get my due. Next day, you know what I'm saying? He goes to SEG. In prison, that's lockup.
So I'm like, in my heart, I'm like, damn, we through. We done got us a rape case.
They was telling me bullshit about, like, you know, if you get in trouble, so we're gonna go up there and lie and say you brought it on yourself and shit like that. And I was believing them. They had me in a position where they had me spooked. You know what I mean? Because I was looking to make parole and everything, and I wasn't trying to get in no conflict.
I say, you got 2 choices. You can either be with me, or you can go pack your shit and go tell them folks to lock you up. You go back to lockup.
Reluctantly, Matt agreed to become another one of Mark's boys.
Only thing I ask of you, don't try to make me be like a sissy, a girl inside a prison. We hook up, you know what I'm saying? Everything was lovey-dovey, you know what I'm saying? Relationship was gravy, all good. I transferred.
The warden had Mark shipped out of Limestone again. But everyone knew Matt had been turned out. The other men all wanted their shot.
And he got with this other dude, you know what I'm saying? He wound up having sex with him. He was doing so bad. So he wound up selling to another dude, and that dude wound up selling to another dude. And all this, what he was going through, was a result, because nobody messed with him. He was a blood.
He just went crazy. He just went to sleeping with different guys. I mean, just tossing their ass up. You know what I'm saying? Letting everybody fuck.
It was just something that happened in the penitentiary that I left in the penitentiary. I mean, even the girl I got now, I mean, she's a fucking fox. I can't lose her about some humbug shit, you know? I mean, if I can keep it from my family I done 4.5 years, and then now I'm out 6 months and they still don't have any idea, I don't think it'll be a problem. And they ask me questions all the time. Well, how was college like and shit? I guess the penitentiary made me a real good liar.
If he stayed gone for 5, 6 years or whatever, if he ever come back to prison and there's someone in prison that remember him from then, he will always be a boy.
What size you wear?
36-32?
36-32, please. We'll try these on, see if they fit.
Thank you.
Robbie Craig filed a suit against the state of Florida.
I said I'd like to be interstate compacted closer to my family. I wasn't interested in any money. I want out of the state of Florida.
He settled for a transfer to the Iowa State Penitentiary system, a chance to leave his past behind.
You ready to go, dog?
Yep.
There's a boy that's here that's 18 years old. They call him the Kid. And the Kid I've seen a few different times in the wrong crowd. I've extracted the Kid from that crowd, done what they call taking him under my wing if he needs something. But see, I'm not a daddy. I'm doing this from my heart. I'm doing this for him because I know that somebody's going to try him.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I think Sergeant Anderson, he believed that my respect for authority was so intense and so obvious that he could use his authority to get me to do things.
He came to us, as you saw in the records from Florida. He has been on medications prior to coming here, so I'm not sure just what we're all able to discuss right now because we do have a camera.
That's the type of inmate I was, locking my heels, standing up straight like I was in the Marine Corps. I was standing in front of my father.
In Iowa, Robbie still lives with his shame.
I have a friend, a dog we call him.
Come on, get it. Come on, good.
And we've been pumping iron, running, and we spend a lot of time kicking the bobo, you know, of how I came from Florida up here. And it hurts me because I have to lie to people. I want to be able to, and I put myself in the position and made my mind up and taken my dog out and sat on the bleachers and to tell him before he goes home the truth. And I can't. I want to because I don't want him to think I'm a liar. You wonder if you ever get seriously intimate with someone, a woman, what she's gonna think. You wonder if they give you a hug, do they feel like they're hugging somebody that's ugly, that's dirty?
You know, I've felt shame, embarrassed, all that. So after a while, you get used to it. Once you start something in here, you don't change it. And they don't too easily let you do that. Once you're one way, you're always that way.
It's sad to say, but at one point, I stopped caring about the outside. As long as I had a boy, as long as I had plenty of pills and money, I was, what would I say, institutionalized. And the fact that I didn't have a lot of contact from the outside world, that just helped me with adapting to the prison lifestyle. I guess I'd say I fell in love with the lifestyle. That's before I found myself, or I should say started to find myself and wanted to be a better man.
You're gonna meet thousands of people, you know, and especially if you're a boy or sissy, everybody knows you, everybody. It's the whole camp, if your name's said, they know who it is. So that's gonna go with you wherever.
When Mark got transferred out of Limestone, the family began to crumble from harassment by guards and other inmates, jealousy, and a little too much living it up.
I went to lockup, and I stayed 33 days. And Mendenhall, by the time I come out, he had hooked up with somebody else. He always worried about him, when he was going to get high the next time. And I just couldn't deal with that. I don't like being around them type of people.
There's not many times to where I just want to look at reality, what's around me, what's happening. I try to stay messed up so I don't have to see it.
At first it was fun, you know, having all these prison-made hoes, you know, that's what they call them, right? Fuck boys or whatever.
I was the only one for a long time, you know, that we was together, so it was kind of hard to accept other people, you know, with his attention.
More boys, it brought me more money, you know what I'm saying? So it brought me more trouble.
It basically just turned into something really too stressful for me, and I had to just get back away from it.
Him looking out for them, money going to them, and you know, so it's changed, and ain't nobody really like change, especially in no relationship.
They call you to the ship commander's office, and if they didn't feel like we could live together, you know, they would move one of us to another dorm. All the cookies and coffee and cigarettes we had, they would divide it 50-50. They call it a divorce court, and tell us you go your way and he go his way. You know what I'm saying? You know, I've been through that several times.
In order for a boy to leave me, or the person I was with to leave me, you know what I'm saying, they had to give me back everything that I ever gave them. You know what I'm saying? If they couldn't give me back what belonged to me, then I was gonna sell them, or they wasn't going anywhere until I got my money.
JG got sent to a maximum security facility. Mark is in a monogamous relationship, and he quit the Bloods. Eddie became a full-blown sissy a year after the filming. Mindy is alone in a drug treatment dorm. Hip's mom visits just about every Sunday.
Like going to work and drinking coffee is a normal thing on the streets. Having boys and prison wives is a normal thing in here. The same things go on here as goes on out there. Where they go to work and make their money, we do our hustling and make our money. Where they you know, they might trick a car salesman into selling him something cheaper. We'll trick the poker man into giving us more chips for our money.
After going through this, you know what I'm saying, all these long, lonely years in here without a woman, you know what I'm saying, standing by my side, yeah, I could definitely see being with another man. On the street, I never thought that I would even be with another man, period, in no way. I thought I could love another man or have affection towards another man. But over the years, you know what I'm saying, I don't know, it just, prison turned me out, you know, into sort of a freak.
Yeah, y'all don't play pop to the left, play him to the right. And don't get one of these certificates. Y'all know when you need a little money, y'all call him, he always there. He look out for you. So just don't think about it, you know.
Lucifer. Major funding for this program was provided by the Soros Documentary Fund, the Massachusetts Foundation for the Humanities, the Threshold Foundation, the Future Generations Foundation, Carlin, Charon, and Rosen, Edward Potras, Boston Film Video Foundation, and the LEF Foundation.